Today we're going to focus on some steps for drawing the hair, but first I want to just map out the face the same way that Jessia did it in the video yesterday, the last time we were together. So this is just going through that process. I sped it up, and then we'll get started on the steps for doing the hair. Alright, in my method, the way that I like to go through the different parts, I think a lot of people would just start drawing individual hairs, but we have to look at the hair as a whole single shape. So we're going to look at the shape of the hair, and you can see that I have a photo here that I'm modeling after. I'm observing the shape of this, the hair in this portrait. And the portrait that I've drawn is a younger person because of the way that the features are closer together, and that was based on Jessia, her method kind of compressed the features a little bit, which looks a little bit younger. But at this point, I'm just drawing out the shape of the hair as a whole thing. So think about the hair as a one unit, without any small parts in it, and then draw that entire shape, and then we're going to start working on the next step. Now as we get into the next section, we're going to be adding value to that shape that we've created, and so we call this step shading. So as you do the shading on the hair, be aware of the direction of the flow of the hair, because your pencil strokes are going to end up showing even if you want them to or not, and it's always best to have the direction of your pencil follow the shape that you're working with. Even if you're working on the face, or any other part, you want to be aware of the direction of your pencil strokes because they complement the thing you're drawing. In this case, we want to make sure that we follow the shape of the head, kind of in that rounded quality, as well as the way the hair flows within that shape. So just be aware of that as you lay down the value for this part. At this point, it's a good idea to just kind of blend in your values so that you don't have a lot of the white of the paper showing through. In this case, I'm using my finger to do that, but there's also a tool called a tortillon blender that we would use in the classroom. It's basically like a paper stump that you can use. It's like rolled up paper, and you can use it to blend. You can also take like a Kleenex or something, wrap it over your finger, and then just kind of smear it to blend in the value. There are still underlying pencil strokes showing, but you will have more even coverage of the value of your pencil. Once you have that even value all over the hair, then now it's easiest to do the highlights by going back in with an eraser. And the eraser is not a fine tool like a pencil tip is. So we're going to be taking out large areas of highlight and then coming back in and cutting into them with the pencil to create detail and the linear qualities of the hair. And really, with drawing hair, you really only need to hint at what this mass is made of. The mass of hair is made up of lots of small, fine things. So we just have to hint at those things. We don't have to draw every single one. And that's what this is about. We're going to do the entire shape, shade it to the appropriate value level, and then go back in with your pencil to create small detailed elements that gives someone a feel for what texture this thing is and what it's made of. And so these small linear details we're adding now are giving the viewer a hint at what the thing is, this hair is made of. It's made of small filaments that make up the whole. You can see that while I'm working with this portrait, I'm looking at the photo as a reference to see some of where those highlights would be and observe things that I wouldn't be able to imagine in my mind. So looking at a reference is always super helpful to help you come up with the detail of things that you would not be able to think of on your own. And I always have to look at something in order to observe it. Even if I'm not trying to make that exact person, I need to see what someone's lighting, hair, things like that will help. So you can see that I'm not trying to create this young man in my portrait because I drew the facial features before I even started using this photo as a reference, but I'm looking at the hair to see where highlights are, where shapes are, unique details that I wouldn't normally be able to observe just by my memory. So that's how I'm approaching this, and it's always useful for you to look at something as you try to come up with those details.